Millennials need to stop buying avocado toast if they want to buy a home. The millionaire Melbourne property developer who infamously said millennials need to stop buying avocado toast if they want to buy a home is back and now says workers today are arrogant and that we need to see unemployment rise 50%. Tim Gurner is the 41-year-old CEO of the Gurner Group, which has a development portfolio across Australia valued at more than $10 billion. He is also worth just under $1 billion himself, according to the 2022 Rich List, and is obsessed with eternal youth. He has a wellness spa side business that offers hyperbaric oxygen pods, red light therapy, and intravenous magnesium. In 2017, when Gurner was 35 with a net worth of about $500 million, he went viral for saying in an interview with 9 News that millennials need to stop making poor life decisions if they want to enter the property market. So he said, "When I was trying to buy my first home, I wasn't buying smashed avocado for $19 and 4 coffees at $4 each. We're at a point now where the expectations of younger people are very, very high. They want to eat out every day. They want to travel to Europe every year. The people that own homes today worked very, very hard for it and saved every dollar, did everything they could to get up the property investment ladder." Yesterday, Gurner spoke at an Australian Financial Review panel event and said the problem with the economy these days is that workers have become arrogant since COVID, and we've got to kill that attitude. He said they've been paid a lot.
Hello, everyone. Welcome again to K Podcast. Now, I know that you're probably shocked by this. Let me just say this: the rich are getting bolder and bolder. And this is the thing, they understand that in this economy, there are a lot of people that do want jobs, they do want to live their life at the same time, but it's like escaping them that, we are more than just your workers, just the ones the slaves away for you. And this is why when I hear billionaires talking about the population rate, I laugh. I literally laugh because I know why they are concerned about the population rate. The fact that population is going down, they are not happy with that because, hey, who's going to come work for them later? Who's going to come make them all that money? Because, you shouldn't have a life. You should work your whole life so that they can remain billionaires and millionaires and not care about you. Now, Tim Gurner over here, I don't know, Lord help us all, what he's smoking, but he came out. I'm starting to feel like Vivian, like I'm starting to feel like Paris in this kind of France in this moment, because you know how the French act. The French people, that's one thing I love about them. No way there's gonna be you're gonna get the consequences. So he literally comes out and put out this statement, and I'm like, I wish all the people, all his employees could just quit at once. Everybody at this point, and the fact that he thinks people should work for him so that he can keep on paying people minimum wage. Let's not forget, they're not paying people a lot out there. Amazon is not paying people a lot out there. Elon Musk is doing his own out there, not paying people a lot, exploiting people. Let's not forget, they exploit people, they exploit their labor to make themselves rich and continue keeping those wealth for themselves. So I'm gonna play this video over here of this guy talking, and I'm gonna be giving my commentary as this video goes. So let's bring up this lady was making a lot of sense, because this is the same guy that came out and be like, maybe if you stop drinking avocado latte or whatever it was, or going to Starbucks, maybe you could make more money. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure if I dig deep into you, I'm pretty sure I will see wealth somewhere laying around, because I don't think avocado money was the reason why you got this rich. Is it 200? Is it 929 million? That is what Tim Gurner is worth, by the way. And he's the one coming and telling you, oh, I think they need to be a separation, and workers should think, to see us as their savior, because people are growing, morals. People are starting to understand, I'm not here on this earth. I was not born to slave away for you. And at this point, I'm starting to think that millionaires, I feel like there is something that when you get into this particular section of being rich, not millionaires but billionaires sector, your humanity start depleting. Your sense of morale start depleting. You don't think like every other person. Your humanity starts stripping away. because now you want to be on top and you want people slaving away for you and making that money. And oh my God, if they don't make the money, why not make it harder for them? But these are the kind of people that I look at and I'm like, if people stop working for you, you won't have a company. You think you are the boss? This is the thing. You think you are the boss. No, you are not the boss. People working for you, if they decide to all quit, if everybody in the Western world decide to quit their job, the economy would collapse, and that billions that you're talking about, I don't know where you want to go to. That's why when I see people crying about Africa, talking about Africans are having more children, is because the thing is they want this part of the West to have more children so that they can exploit. In Africa, it's a different topic. There are people that have their own land, they have their own houses. Let's not forget, although they are talking about the continent is so poor. Oh my God, people are so poor, they can't survive. They have landmarks, natural spring water. They can grow their food without any government coming and telling you can't plant anything in your garden. The government cannot come and tell you this piece of land that you own, all of a sudden you can't plant anything there. It will not happen. So they can't really control the people back home like that with the population and all of that. And instead of them thinking about how to make the people live here better so that people can decide to have family, pay them livable wage, that they can travel with their family and actually enjoy their life with their family, they're thinking about, oh my God, maybe we should make it harder for you. This is giving. I'm looking at all these countries. I'm like you're about to become friends, but I don't think that the United States will become like France because a lot of people are divided because of color. A lot of people hate each other because of the skin tone, and they want to talk about race and this. That's why I feel like what? As long as you're divided, they will continue to exploit you. As long as they can drive a division, they will continue to exploit you. Until the day a lot of people come together, leave that nonsense aside, that color topic aside, the race topic aside, and come together and literally go after these corporations because they are the ones making all this money. The corporations are the reason why a lot of people are unhappy and a lot of people out here are living an impoverished life. A lot of people cannot actually, afford anything. And they will come out here and lie to you and be like, a tax cut for the rich is actually bringing employment. Tax cut for the rich is the reason why we got jobs. And, they are not going to raise the food prices. But they're raising the food prices, by the way. It doesn't matter if you give them tax cuts. Food prices are rising. Accommodation, rental prices are rising. So tell me, how is that helping? Hello, Sun and Sunflower. So let me bring up this video over here.
Capitalism to work. And you don't believe me? Check this. So capitalists are now just openly admitting that they need to hurt the economy in order for capitalism to work. And you don't believe me? Check this out.
We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40, 50% in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around.
That was real estate tycoon Tim Gurner, literally saying that he wants to increase unemployment and cause pain in the economy. But if capitalism is the best economic system we can possibly utilize, then why would the people calling the shots at the top of that system want to purposely hurt the economy and drive up unemployment?
Is because people have been allowing them to do it for a long time. The corporations have been in power for a long time and the government is aiding them on. And that's why when people talk about tax cut, they're like, yeah, if they cut our tax, we can provide more jobs. But the food prices are rising, rental prices are rising, like literally the whole, anything surrounding living. It's like these people do not want you to have a life. They do not want their employees to get a life. They do not want people that are working under them to have a life. Your life should be centered around them making money. But they can have spas and think about long life, like they said before. This guy have like a big spa and he's more interested about keeping himself in his youth. He want to enjoy, he want to find a long life and all of that. But you shouldn't. You shouldn't travel and have a Lamborghini, because I saw a photo of him and his wife, and was it a Porsche at the background? I'm like, yeah, I see you. And the fact that he's talking about this, I'm like, I'm giving him side eye, and I'm looking at all these millionaires out here paying people minimum wage. That's why they are becoming billionaires and trillionaires, but nobody want to talk about it, because we want to be out here bickering with each other, fighting each other, and looking at our different culture, different skin tone, and just going at each other. And let me tell you something, these people, they're going to be laughing and they're going to be enjoying themselves.
There's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around. So it's a dynamic that has to change. We've got to kill that attitude, and that has to come through hurting the economy, which is what the whole global, the world is trying to do. The governments around the world are trying to increase unemployment to get that to some sort of normality. And we're seeing it. I think every employer now is seeing it. I mean, there is definitely massive layoffs going off. People might not be talking about it, but people are definitely laying
So he's talking about
people off.
so
and we're
he's
starting to
talking
see
about
less
how
wage
to hurt the economy so that people could be aligned with coming to work. He's talking
to
about,
some sort of
let me see what is happening here. So he's talking about, hurting the economy. This is the thing. That's why in these first world countries, it's hard for people to have their own farms and grow their own crops, because even if you grow something in your backyard, they be like, you don't have the license to do that, because they don't want you to grow anything that can sustain you. You see it? You see what I'm talking about? And now he's out here talking about we gotta hurt the economy. Why? Because he wants to make more money.
the whole global, the world is trying to do. The governments around the world are trying to increase unemployment to get that to some sort of normality. And we're seeing it. I think every employer now is seeing it. I mean, there is definitely massive layoffs going off. People might not be talking about it, but people are definitely laying people off, and we're starting to see less arrogance in the employment market, and that has to continue because that will cascade across the cost.
Oh, so they're laying people off. Like, I don't understand how these people think. Oh, thank you for actually coming and exposing your, colleagues, the people, their partners, and all of that, and all these billionaires out here. Thank you very much. But that is the thank you I'm going to give him, because a lot of people should listen to what this man is saying. So he's like, that's why we are laying people off, because people have become arrogant and they should see us as their masters and the one that provide their life, or else they will not have nothing to eat and they will be impoverished. So since we started laying them off, a lot of people have begun to come back and understanding that we are the boss, we are the masters in here. That is what it's giving. It's giving bow down or you will have no food. Because if you grow a crop in your backyard, we'll make sure that you don't get to harvest that crop. Because at the end of the day, the state can come and be like, oh, you don't have the license. This part is not for you to grow your crops or do anything like that. So let's continue.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because the only incentive they actually have is to increase their own profits. And since labor is only seen as an expense to them, they want to do everything in their power to weaken the working class so they can extract as much profit from the value generated by their labor as possible. I mean, just listen to the disdain he has for the entire concept of having equality with the people that he employs. I hear conservatives argue all the time about how the exchange of labor under capitalism is voluntary and therefore just. But how can that be when the capitalist ruling class is openly saying that they want to ruin the lives of their employees in order to remind them that they're lucky to be employed, not the other way around? If labor under capitalism was truly the even and voluntary exchange that its defenders say it is, then why do employers think that they shouldn't have to feel lucky to have their employees? If this is an exchange of equal value, then why shouldn't both sides be equally happy with it? Why do capitalists need their workers to fear unemployment so badly that they are willing to use the government to harm the entire economy in order to avoid treating their employees like they actually need them too? If you're a member of the working class and you want to know why capitalism is bad for you, you don't have to bother reading Marx. Just listen to an ultra-wealthy capitalist talk about labor relations for a few minutes and they will explain it to you clear as day.
Yeah, and this is the thing when they talk about socialism, because like Germany over here is some kind of way a socialist country because a lot of people are getting benefits and all of that. But back in, I think in the other side of the West, like the US and the other ones, this is the thing. They want you to think that capitalism is the best thing that ever happened. No, it's the best thing that ever happened to the rich and the greedy. It's the best thing that happened to the rich and the greedy. And I'm not going to say socialism has worked either, because there is also flaw in that, but they have to be a middle ground. They have to be a middle ground where you have to pay people living, not minimum wages, livable wages, where they can still have a life apart from working for you. They can still afford to travel, because the reason why people get a job, the reason why people get a job in the first place was so that they can afford things that they don't have, which means traveling, going on vacation, and spending time with your family. This was the reason why a lot of people go out there and get a job. But you are trying out to say you traveling a lot, you spending more time with your kids, you shouldn't be doing that, and I'm still going to pay you minimum wage because you shouldn't be afforded any of that. Is that not the reason why people get a job in the first place, so that they can actually have enough money to live their life and travel and all of that? Is that not why people go to your company to work? Or, oh my God, excuse me, no, they didn't come over there to work for their own life. They came to work for you. Their whole life is based on you. That's why when I see them crying about, the population depleting, I'm like, what do you expect? When I see them crying about, oh, women don't want to have kids. And by the way, there was another video that I saw. It's a long time I talk about politics, but there was a video that I saw about the conservative literally talking about they want to take children from single mothers and demonize single mothers, by the way. There is a video that I'm going to do about that later on. They want to take power, but you know what? That particular topic, it sounded like they want to, start this whole thing. And I'm like, this is not going to help. You see Japan right now, even Japan was not this hard. How many, their birth rate is down the drain. It's down the drain. And a lot of people are talking about, we don't know how Japan got to this level, but I know how it's gonna get to that particular level over here in the West, because of greedy people like this. Now let me bring up this woman over here. She had a very valid point, and she said something about this that I actually liked.
They work.
So we're at a crossroads where we're going to have to ask ourselves individually and collectively what it is that we actually want and what the purpose of living in life is. Because right now we are being told that the only purpose we have on this earth is to be a worker. And this person is saying the quiet parts out loud about what a racial capitalist system will always do to the worker. It will be violent and it will be extractive. He literally is saying that the worker needs to feel pain. We need to feel the weight of not being able to support ourselves and have our basic needs met, because we refuse to give up of our labor to those small few who benefit from it and then hoard everything while telling us we have to do more. So now we're at the crossroads. How are we defining life? How are we defining living? Because this is not it. But also, we will never find those answers outside of ourselves. We will not find those answers in these same systems. You cannot fix a system that does not want to be fixed. All you are doing is fixing it so that you can somehow benefit from it in one way, shape, or form. But that usually is a delusion, because very, 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 very few times do you actually benefit from a system that is extracting from you. So then what does living in life mean to you? What does living in life mean to those around you? And how can you center that as a way to figure out what it means to resist against these oppressive systems? Because right now they are telling us they would rather see us unalived, but be able to still provide something for them than actually have anything for us. This is the time of the worker to take back the idea of what it means to live, because we are not producers, we are human beings. Create, don't procreate.
Now I'm gonna say this. She had a lot of points, and I'm gonna say this just to add to it. when these people are talking this way, let's say all of their workers go away, everybody get laid off, nobody has a job anymore. A lot of people walk away from these blue collar, white collar, corporations and work jobs like this. Let me say something. Who's gonna produce your products? Because we're the ones that are consuming those products. Nobody's gonna be producing it, and maybe if you have a stock already, nobody's gonna buy it. Let's say if you're somebody that is producing laptops, TV, a lot of people already have that in their house. If people decide to stop using technology, stop actually doing anything, and just start farming on their own and trying to make food for themselves, you're gonna lose that money that you've been hoarding. You're gonna have to spend that money. This is the thing. Consequences have not been given to these people for a long time. They've not seen any consequences, no backlash. They've continued to make money out of this, and drain the people and tell you need to work harder to climb the corporate ladder. And yet they be the first one to come out here and be like, you lazy, you drinking cappuccino. The reason why you don't have apartment is because you're eating avocado. Very senseless. Now let me bring up this video over here, because they asked Oprah Winfrey why why are the Americans why are people in general very unhappy these days. And Oprah, I feel like she waited a bit for a second or something before she actually answered this question. And I'm like, I feel like she knows the answer. Oprah knows the answer, but in her mind, she doesn't want to point fingers to her fellow billionaires and her fellow, corporation havers and people that have wealth. She doesn't want to do that. Instead, Oprah blamed it on people. I'm like, girl, be for real. No, like, woman, be for real. You are too old to act ignorant, to act as if you're ignorant, as if you are not seeing what is going on in this world. Children of the age of 15, 16, 6 years old are already seeing how our economy is, how people are being taken advantage of, especially by the big corporations. And girl, you are out here telling us the reason why people are sad is because they're looking at other people. You know what? Let me bring this video up here. Let me bring it up.
Why do you think we're in a happiness?
Let me play it from the start.
Oprah thinks she has figured out why Americans are so unhappy.
Why do you think we're in a happiness slump in America?
Ooh, I will tell you, one of the most profound reasons, I think, is because everybody is looking at other people's social media.
Wrong. Here's the real reason.
Americans are getting poorer, and it's getting harder to make ends meet.
What they believe to be other people's lives, which is only a snapshot of other people's lives, and feeling envy about that.
The word is...
Oh, God. She knows the answer, but she will not say it. She will not say it's capitalism. She will not say it's the billionaires that are getting tax cuts. She will not say it because she's probably getting some tax cut herself. So why would she point her hand? Why would she point her finger to herself and her fellow billionaires and trillionaires and big corporations? Why would she do that? No, she's gonna point the fingers at you, povos. You are not rich. Since you're not rich, you're povos. You're poverty people. You're povos. Yeah, she's gonna point her fingers at you, povos, for not, having a life. Not the economy, though. Not the rich, though. It's just you.
Isn't envy, Oprah. It is anger. We are angry. Americans are unhappy.
Let me just bring this.
Other people's lives. And feeling envy about that.
The word isn't envy, Oprah. It is anger. We are angry. Americans are unhappy because we can barely take care of our families as the rich are getting richer, because our government doesn't represent us, because we're headed toward an environmental collapse, because we can't trust the food in our grocery stores is safe to eat. But while we're talking about comparing ourselves to others on social media...
Whoa! Whoa! I love a beautiful charcuterie! This excites me.
I'm not envious of your charcuterie. I'm angry that you have the audacity to flaunt your excessive lifestyle when so many Americans are suffering.
Poverty rate rose to 12.4% in 2022. That's up from 7.8% in 2021, the largest one-year jump on record, and accounts for about 40 million Americans. These higher poverty rates are obviously also related to the increased costs for essentials like food and housing.
Meanwhile, in Oprah's new book, she wants you to stop blaming the outside world for your problem. She's going to teach you how to improve your life right now instead of waiting for the outside world to change. It's all up to you. There's nothing holding you back. The audacity.
And one of the things that Arthur and I talk about in this book is that envy is the great destroyer.
The happiness killer.
Yes, Nora, the happiness.
Oh Lord, I can't. Envy, lady. Let me just say something. I don't think people would be envious of anyone if their life was, if they had a livable wage, and if they could afford traveling, if they could afford their rents, if they could afford food, to put food on their own tables. A lot of people are not out here trying to buy mansions and all of that. They just want to be able to live their life, able to have a job where they can still spend time with their families instead of slaving away in the office. But let's just leave that at that and just say, oh, it's because people are looking at each other's life. They're looking at all these rich people's lifestyle and then they're mad. See, this is the thing. People that don't have, and then you deprive them of having more, and deprive them and increasing rent, increasing food, increasing all of that. And they asked you, like this lady literally asked you, why do you think people are unhappy? You know exactly why people are unhappy. Things are expensive. House rents are going up. Properties, a lot of people cannot afford properties. Let me tell you this again. A lot of people cannot afford to buy a house. A lot of millennials don't have a house. You get me? And you're talking about, oh, it's because we are rich and because they are povos, all these povos out here, all these people that can afford housing, all these people that can afford their own house, they can afford to put food on their table, but we want them to work for big corporations. Instead of them looking at our luxurious life, why don't these people just, look at themselves? I have a book for you out here, povos, all of you that are not rich and are not millionaires as me. You povos need to read this book and mind your business. Stop looking at us, the rich ones out here. Wow.
Killer. What a bootlicker. This is why we don't trust the old news network. CBS is just running ads. This is an ad for a book, an ad for a billionaire. These people are delusional. They're living in their own psycho world. Do not trust anyone at the top of this capitalist pyramid, and do not trust the corporations who do their bidding.
Now, I'm going to say this. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And I'm going to say this. Do not forget to press that like button, comment. Let me know what you think about this whole shenanigans out here. And I will see you all on the next one. And I'm going to say this. Have a great day and goodbye.
To do not too much in the last few years, and we need to see that change. I think the problem we've had is that people decided they didn't really want to work so much anymore through COVID. He also said it was time for a dynamic shift in this country between employers and employees through a 40 to 50% jump in unemployment. We need to see pain in the economy, he said. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. There's been a systemic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around. It's a dynamic that has to change. People have already been piling on him from within Australia and abroad. Even New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted the video of Gurner's speech and said, "Reminder that major CEOs have skyrocketed their own pay so much that the ratio of CEO to worker pay is now at some of the highest levels ever recorded." And surprise, surprise, Gurner is not the self-made man he wants you to think he is. The money that he saved to buy his first home, which is a $180,000 apartment in St Kilda, was thanks to loans from his boss and his grandfather.